Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your man Soul here. Welcome back to the channel. You know what it is when you clicked it. Today we are doing the Fire Mage talent setup for Wrath of the Lich King Classic, patch 335, and Fire is widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best, damaging specs, especially in later Wrath. Whether you feel that way or not, that's completely up to you, but let's at least see what kind of talents and glyphs we're working with. So without further ado, let's jump on in. First things first, I do want to say thank you to all of the new subscribers and new people who have been viewing the videos and commenting and so on and so forth. Really growing up the channel, trying to hit that road to 1K with the stride. So thank you again, and let's get busy. So here we have the pretty standard Fire Mage build setup. Fire I don't think was as straightforward as Arcane was, but it's still a pretty easy spec to kind of talent out. Certain talents might look a little bit more appealing, but certain ones you just don't need. But here I am to help you get through them, so let's begin. First things first, we have improved Fireball. This is going to reduce the casting time of your Fireball spell by half a second. Obviously, this is going to let you cast more Fireballs within the time frame of a fight, so this is a good talent, and it's going to help you proc other things like Hot Streak, which we will get to later. Next things next, we have World in Flames. This is going to increase the critical strike chance of all of these listed spells by 6%, but namely what we're looking for is Pyroblast and Living Bomb. So again, an easy, pretty much throughput talent, definitely want to take. Over here we have Ignite. This is going to cause a burning effect from your critical strikes with fire damage spells. Approximately 40% of the damage you cause will be a damage over time effect. So this is also a pretty big Fire Mage talent, so you definitely don't want to skip Ignite. Definitely take it. Next things down, we have Flamethrowing. This is going to increase the range of all fire spells except Frost Firebolt by 6 yards. I never understood why Frost Firebolt wasn't increased either. It could just be because for PvP reasons, like you don't want to have increased range on a spell that does a dot and snares. I don't know. If there's a Mage aficionado out there, let me know in the comments below, but I couldn't find any like definitive answers to why that is. But that's what Flamethrowing is. I think range increases definitely get like the short end of the stick when it comes to utility. Like range increases are pretty decent in my opinion. Like if you watch my Arcane Mage video, you know I'm a fan of the Magic Attunement, which is basically a range increase for arcane spells. When you increase your range, you got to remember you are able to stay in position longer for boss moves. You're able to get into position quicker and do damage quicker if you have to move from a mechanic. So don't sleep on range, but definitely take Flamethrowing. Next, we have one of the big ones, which is Pyroblast. This is going to cause you to hurl an immense fiery boulder that causes a large amount of fire damage and an additional amount over 12 seconds. So Pyroblast is part of the bread and butter of Fire Mage, and you definitely don't want to take. We're going to talk about what this does later on. I know you see that 5-second cast time. You're thinking, damn, I'm going to spend 5 seconds casting this thing. Just wait. We're going to get to it, but definitely do not skip Pyroblast. Next, we have Burning Soul. Hope you're not burning me. Reduces the pushback suffered from damaging attacks while casting fire spells by 70%. So basically, this is just a spell pushback protection. Plus, it gives you a little bit of a threat reduction from fire. So definitely pick up Burning Soul. You want that spell pushback protection. Next, we have Master of Elements. So your spell criticals will refund 30% of their base mana cost. So this one I consider like not fully optional, but not fully mandatory. We can call it like near optional. It just depends on your playstyle. So if you're having mana issues as fire, especially early on, like I don't know if you should be fire early on. Like Arcane might net you better results, but if you are opting to go fire, you might want to pick up Master of Elements as you're getting pre-raid bis or phase 1 bis gear. The other option for not getting Master of Elements, because you don't have to max out Master of Elements, you can get 1 out of 3 to suffice the talent build, and you can put these other remaining 2 into Student of the Mind, which is going to increase your spirit, which also coincides with the new Molten Armor, which gives you more critical strike based off of 35% of your spirit. So you can do that there to get more of a throughput stat. But if you're having mana issues, you should max out Master of Elements. But we'll leave it like this for now. But yeah, that's what you want to do with Master of Elements. Mana issues, max it out. If not, go for the spirit, and you can get more crit from that. Next, we have Improved Scorch. So increases the chance to critically hit with Scorch, Fireball, and Frost Firebolt by an additional 3%. And your damaging Scorch spells have a 100% chance to cause your target to be vulnerable to spell damage, increasing spell critical strike chance against the target by 5%. So basically, gives a small crit buff to Scorch, Fireball, and Frost Firebolt, and it makes you debuff the target with a 5% crit chance for spells. So pretty good. Don't skip Improved Scorch. Next, we have Playing with Fire. This is going to increase all spell damage caused by 3% and all spell damage taken by 3%. So this is kind of like a cool little a cool little flavor talent. The flat spell damage taken is obviously great. Spell damage caused, not taken. Spell damage caused is obviously great. The spell damage taken is negligible. Like, you're not gonna die because you're taking 3% more spell damage. Like, if you were gonna die, it was gonna happen with or without this talent. So don't worry about it. But definitely pick up playing with fire. Next, we have Critical Mass. Increases the critical strike chance of your fire spells by 6%. That's pretty cut and dry. Definitely take that. Next, we have Firepower. Increases the damage done by your fire spells by 10%. Again, cut and dry. Pick it up. Next, we have Molten Fury. Increases the damage of all spells against targets with 35% or less health by 12%. So giving all of your spells a little bit of a execute threshold. So that 35% comes a lot quicker than 20%. So you'll definitely be executing at 35% with all your spells. Definitely good for fire, especially once you get later on and you have abundance of crit and abundance of haste. This Molten Fury becomes really, really important. Next things next, we have one of the staples of the fire tree, that is Combustion. So when activated, this spell increases your critical strike damage bonus with fire spells by 50%, so increasing your crit damage by 50%, and causes each of your fire damage spell hits to increase your critical strike chance with fire spells by 10%. This effects last until you cause 3 non-periodic critical strikes from fire spells. So how does this work, Soul? So basically, one, it increases your crit damage by 50%. So your crits will be hitting for 50% harder. That's amazing. Next, it increases your critical strike chance with fire spells by 10%. And this effect only ends if you get 3 spells in a row. That's non-living bomb and non-ignite. 3 hard cast spells in a row that aren't crits. So you could really, really stretch out Combustion dependent on your crit levels. You could just keep critting over and over and over and just doing increased crit damage because you're getting a 50% boost. So Combustion's a really, really strong talent. I definitely would not skip, and it only gets better the more crit you have. Next, we have Pyromaniac. Increases the chance to critically hit with spells by 3% and allows 50% of your mana regen to continue while casting. Definitely want to pick this up. Self-explanatory. Next, we have Empowered Fire. Increases the damage of your Fireball, Frostfire Bolt, and Pyroblast spells by an amount equal to 15% of your spell power. In addition, each time your Ignite talent causes damage, you have a 100% chance to regain 2% of your maximum mana. So, as you can see, Fire really has like a lot of mana return options. So we have Empowered Fire, we have Pyromaniac, we have Massive Elements to help continue your flow of mana. And this gives your Fireball, Frost Fireball, and Pyroblast a little bit more boost of the spell power coefficient, 15% to be exact. So definitely want to pick up Empowered Fire. Next, we have Hot Streak, the big one. Anytime you score 2 non-periodic criticals in a row using Fireball, Fire Blast, Scorch, Living Bomb, or Frost Firebolt, you have a 100% chance to make the next Pyroblast cast within 10 seconds instant. So this talent alone is how we get around the 5-second cast time of Pyroblast. So you're going to be fishing for a lot of Hot Streak procs. Obviously, like I just said, in order to proc it, you have to get 2 non-periodic spell criticals from Fireball, Fire Blast, Scorch, Living Bomb, or Frost Fireball. It's weird Living Bomb's on that list, but I guess they don't count Living Bomb as a periodic spell, even though it is. So I don't know, but yes, one of these spells has to be 2 non-periodic crits, and obviously as Fire, you've seen how many crit modifiers alone just from the tree we got. You're going to be getting Hot Streak quite often. So Hot Streak is like the super important big talent. You definitely do not skip. Definitely take Hot Streak. Next, we have Burnout. So increases your spell critical damage bonus with all spells by 50%, which totals up to 100% when you have Combustion active. But your non-periodic spell criticals cost an additional 5% of the spell's cost. So gives you a little bit of a mana increase for your spells. But again, if you have the correct talent, so if you find yourself drained, you can get more Massive Elements. And when you have, later on, when you have, more crit and stuff like that, this mana thing won't even be an issue, trust me. And last but not least, we have a Living Bomb. The target becomes a Living Bomb, taking 612. Why am I reading the numbers? Next, taking a lot of fire damage over 12 seconds. After 12 seconds, or when the spell is dispelled, so that's a little PvP protection, the target explodes, dealing a lot of fire damage to all enemies within 10 yards. So Living Bomb, as we read, happens to be laced by a lot of talents. Obviously, it's affected by Hot Streak. It's affected by, there's another one, but Living Bomb, definitely don't skip. I know we skipped the Capstone talent in the Arcane build, but you definitely do not skip Living Bomb. It is very important. definitely for keeping up your damage and helping fuel Hot Streak. And that's really it for the main fire tree. Again, not too many, misleading talents here. You can have a little bit of flexibility with the Master of Elements, putting it into the Student of the Mind, but pretty easy once you start reading things out and understanding how they work. But now we're going to go into the Arcane tree. And first things first, we're going to have is Arcane Subtlety. This is going to increase the chance that your helpful spells will be, reduce the chance that your helpful spells will be dispelled, and reduce the threat caused by arcane spells. I'm pretty sure this might be a little bit of a means to an ends talent, because even though the reduced chance for your helpful spells and damage over time specs to be dispelled is good, I can't quite think off of the top of my head things that would dispel Ignite or dispel Living Bomb, and you're not really using arcane spells to benefit from the reduced threat caused by them. So this might be more along the lines of a means to an ends to get down the tree / it's the better option over arcane stability, because you're not using arcane missiles or blast. So again, useful dependent on where you're at, because I can't, like I said, I can't think off the top of my head something that's dispelling Living Bomb or Ignite. Like, the only fight that comes to my mind immediately is like faction champs, right? So, but I could be wrong. If you know another fight, put it in the comments below. But next, we have Arcane Focus. Increases your chance to hit and reduce the mana cost of your arcane spells by 3%. Obviously, we're using this for the free hit chance. Like, as a caster, you need a lot of hits, so you definitely want to take this. Next, we have Clear Casting. Well, not Clear Casting, but it's called Arcane Concentration, which gives you the Clear Casting effect. You guys know what the Clear Casting effect is. Your next mana cost spell costs no mana, so easy. Next, we have Focus Magic, probably a big one for fire. Increases the target, so just one person, you buff one person. Increases the target's chance to critically hit with spells by 3%, so that's no melee, just spells. And when the target does get a critical hit, your chance to critically hit is increased by 3%. So again, put this on someone who you know is going to get a lot of crits. Boomkins, other fire mages, arcane mages, resto shamans, you know the drill, pick your poison. Next, we have Student of the Mind, so increases your total spirit by 10%, and kind of like what I said earlier in the video, Student of the Mind is going to increase your spirit, and by virtue of that, increasing your critical strike chance because of Molten Armor. So if you have an abundance of spirit, you can turn a lot of it into crit, which is what you definitely want as fire. Even if you don't have a lot of spirit, this is still a pretty good talent, because at some point throughout your Wrath of the Lich King career, you're going to have some spirit gear as a caster. That's just how it is. Moving on, we have Spell Impact. This is going to increase the damage of all of these listed spells, but namely Fire Blast and Fireball and Scorch by 6%. So again, a good 6% flat damage increase. You can't be mad at. Definitely want to take. And then last but not least, we have Torment the Weak. So this is going to give you increased damage to snared targets by 12%. So a 12% increase. Again, this is good for nuking down high priority targets or something that just spawned, especially if they're being controlled by like a hunter trap or any other snare slow. So this is just going to help you kill them quicker, and it's going to double dip with the Empowered Fire, which is the Execute, or I'm sorry, Molten Fury, which is Execute. So definitely want to take Torment the Weak. And that's really it for the fire tree. Again, not too, too confusing, pretty straightforward in the things that you want. I don't know if some people are gonna ask, but I'll try to answer a question here that I think might come up, and that's why not get Incineration? Increases the critical strike chance of your Fire Blast, Scorch, Arcane, and Cone of Cold by 6% when maxed out. And I feel like the reason is because it only affects Fire Blast and Scorch. Now, you do use those spells, but not nearly as much as what you're using Fireball and Pyroblast for. So if this included Fireball, you probably take this, but because it's only Fire Blast and Scorch, I feel like you don't, because Scorch you're really just using to keep up the buff, right? Fireball is what you're trying to use to proc the hot streak for the free Pyroblast. So I think that could be it. Again, Mage aficionado, please correct me, but I think that's what the reasoning is for there. And I don't know if this is going to come up, but another one is why not spec into Icy Veins? that could be a build that you could use, but I feel like you sacrifice a hell of a lot, especially not getting focus magic, not getting clear casting, not getting, you'll still get the free hit because precision's on this side too, but not having torment the weak, not student of the mind. Like, you sacrifice a lot not going into arcane to get to icy veins. So again, is icy veins worth losing the focus magic, worth losing spell impact, worth losing the extra crit from student of the mind, or the extra damage from torment the weak? I'm not a Mage aficionado, but my WoW experience and my Raider brain tells me no, especially for a 3-minute cooldown. So that just increases casting speed. Like, if it was increasing your damage as well, like kind of like what Arcane Power does, then maybe, but it's just spell casting speed on a 3-minute cooldown. Doesn't really line up too well with combustion, so my brain tells me no, but there could be builds out there where you're rocking it with Icy Veins. So that's really it, though. I just want to, highlight those two things, and now let's go to Glyphs. So here I have 3 glyphs lined up for you, and Fire is pretty like stringent on the glyphs that they use. Ain't no flexibility with these glyphs. So you're definitely using Glyph of Fireball. It's going to reduce the cast time of your Fireball by 0.15, but also removes the damage over time effect. Again, if you can get more Fireballs out, you're going to be able to proc Hot Streak more, and that's the goal, right? So this is actually an excellent glyph. Definitely take. Next, we have Glyph of Living Bomb. The periodic damage of your Living Bomb can now be critical strikes. This is amazing, again, for fueling Hot Streak, so definitely pick up. And last but not least is Glyph of Molten Armor. Your Molten Armor grants a 20% additional critical strike rating, so definitely going from 35 to 55. Definitely want to pick this up. Don't skip. And as for minor, I throw in Arcane, Intellect, and Slowfall. You can pick your poison there. I think I did the same thing with the Arcane too. So pick your poison with the minor. I think these two are worth it, but you don't got to use them. But that's really it for the Fire Mage. This was a pretty easy one to do. Like I said, Fire Mage is widely considered, especially in late Wrath, one of the best, if not in some people's cases, the best damage spec, especially when you have max Bisque gear. So we'll see how they perform. But I had a lot of fun making the Fire Mage build. I hope this guide helps people out. If it did, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I can improve. Let me know if I got this shit completely wrong and I missed something that's so obvious. Let me know. As always, guys, you guys have been great. I've been Soul, and I'm out. Peace.